It is 12 noon in Cairo. It's 6 a.m. in Atlanta. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. We begin in Egypt, where he is accused of ending the lives of hundreds of protesters. Now, Egypt's former president is fighting for his own life. Hosni Mubarak is back in court, charged with using deadly violence to crush anti-government demonstrators, and he could face the death penalty if the court finds him guilty. Mohammed JAMJOOM joins us now from Cairo. Where do things stand right now, Mohammed?
Well, Monita, last we checked, the court was still in recess. It's been quite a long recess, and it just goes to show how difficult it's been trying to make sure that everybody is represented and that everybody is in this courtroom. Today, there are a lot more lawyers present. The judge allowed lawyers for civil claimants.
JAMJOOM in Cairo, thank you. Get ready for the fight. The words of Muammar Gadhafi urging his countrymen to rise up against NATO forces. An address by the Libyan leader was broadcast in the early hours of Monday morning. State TV said Colonel Gadhafi was speaking live. He appears to have been speaking by phone to crowds in Tripoli. CNN senior international correspondent Matthew Chance. And Matthew, if these claims by the rebel fighters are true, how significant would it be?
Well, I think that if they're true, and every indication is that they are making significant military advances in the various areas around Tripoli.
Well, you want to see what newspapers around the world are saying about this. Here in the UK, the Independent's headline is "Rebels fight to hold key city that could turn the tide against Gadhafi." It goes on to say the victory arguably puts the rebels in their strongest position since the conflict began. With the regime forces now hemmed in on all sides and further obstacles to their attempts to resupply. But any prospect of a charge onwards to Tripoli looks remote at the moment. The Wall Street Journal also reflects on the opposition's successes with the headline "Libyan rebels threaten regime supplies." It goes on to say the over 2-week-old rebel offensive now threatening Tripoli showcases the strides their leaders have made in transforming their ranks from an armed rabble into something resembling a proper army. But there's a different emphasis in the International Herald Tribune with the headline "Tribal Disputes Imperil Libya Rebel Unity." The article says, saddled with infighting and undermined by the occasional ruthless and undisciplined behavior of its fighters, the 6-month rebel uprising against Colonel Gadhafi is showing signs of sliding from a struggle to overthrow an autocrat into a murkier contest between factions and tribes. Iraqi authorities say there have been a dozen bombings across the country, killing at least 65 people and wounding more than 140. The worst attack was in Kut, it's south of Baghdad. Officials say around 34 people died after a car bomb was followed by a roadside explosion on a busy street during morning rush hour. Rima Maktabi has been following the developments. She joins us now live from Abu Dhabi with more on the developments there. Rima.
Monita, a deadly day for Iraq indeed, a country that has been calm relatively, at least during the holy month.
Right. Rima, thank you very much for that. Rima Maktabi there. You're watching World One live from London as opposition groups in Syria are telling CNN fighting is continuing for a third day in the port city of Latakia. They say troops backed by gunships have killed at least 25 people in a crackdown on anti-government protesters. Well, let's get more on this now with CNN's Arwa Damon, who's in the Lebanese capital in Beirut. Let's begin with Latakia. What do we know about what happened there, Arwa?
Well, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, gunfire can still be heard in many parts of the city. The focus of the military operation, though, the El Ramel neighborhood.
Thank you for that. Arwa Damon reporting to us there from Beirut. No remorse. Norwegian police say the man who is admitted to killing dozens on Utoya Island expressed no regrets for what he did. Anders Breivik was taken back to the island on Sunday as part of an 8-hour reconstruction of last month's massacre. Back, you're watching World One. Here are some of the stories that we're talking about. One of the biggest challenges facing emergency services everywhere is speed. Well, the U.S. is introducing a plan to upgrade the country's emergency telecommunications capabilities. Once in place, the new and improved 911 system will handle text messages, photos, and video phone calls, in addition to regular phone calls. The upgrade is intended to speed up the response time and provide emergency crews with crucial information about crisis situations. Now, some may argue it's a Bridget Jones too far. Bridget Jones is returning to the silver screen for the third time. The hapless heroine won hearts with her battles to overcome love rivals, career hurdles, and weight gain. Renee Zellweger will be reprising the role, but won't be eating her way out of a size 0 and into character, opting instead to wear a fat suit. Now, let's meet the apple of Steve Jobs' eye. These are new images of his proposed spaceship-like headquarters in Cupertino, California. He is so keen on this development, he even appeared at a local council meeting to present his case. The submission for the Apple Campus 2 includes a 2.8 million square foot development on 70 hectares. It sounds big, but remember, it's going to house about 13,000 staff. An historic snowstorm created a winter wonderland across much of New Zealand on Monday, bringing snow to areas for the first time in decades. Meteorologist Pedram Jebahari is at the World Weather Center with that. Pedram.
Hey, Monita. Yeah, the conditions out there across New Zealand have been rather impressive when you take a look at what has happened in the past 24 or so hours there. Adults, as you saw with the slippery roads, not so much.
Yeah, snow days fun to have. Driving in it, another story. Yeah. Pedram, thank you very much. Yeah. You're watching World One live from London. He stands accused of issuing orders that resulted in hundreds of deaths. Britain's Prime Minister says his government will reconsider how it's tackling everything from education to welfare benefits to mend what he says is a broken society. David Cameron was speaking today after police made a series of arrests in relation to last week's rioting across the country. We want to get more on this now from CNN senior international correspondent Dan Rivers, who joins me here in the studio. First of all, there are these arrests that have taken place, and it seems as though not only of police, but the court system have been working around the clock to process people.
Yeah, I mean, fairly unprecedented scenes where courts are sitting on Saturday and Sunday, working very long hours to get hundreds of people through. The latest figures the police have just given me, if it works.
Yeah, we want to talk a little bit more about that. Dan, thank you very much for that. Senior police officers in Britain are hitting out at the Prime Minister's decision to appoint that former U.S. police chief as his advisor on gang violence. Bill Bratton, who's, as we've just heard from Dan, is being dubbed the super cop, was credited with curbing street crime in Boston and New York and in Los Angeles. We're taking a look at sport now, and in golf, there's another new name on the honor roll of major winners. Pedro Pinto has all the details. I can't keep up. There was a time when it was just Tiger Woods. Now it's just Rory McIlroy.
All these guys
where did they come from?
Coming out of nowhere. You know, I think most sports fans, Monita, could be excused for saying who when they heard who won this year's PGA Championship. Let's face it, he was a no-name in the sport before the year's final major. Keegan Bradley, that's his name. He is a rookie on the PGA Tour, started the year ranked outside of the top 300 in the world, but he's the man who came out on top at the Atlanta Athletic Club in a dramatic final round. He was 5 shots back with 3 holes to play, but they got their new campaign on track. Well, it depends who you ask. They got a 0-0 draw against Stoke in their first game of the season away.
Interesting. You on the market for a house?
For a house? No, not in London.
No? Oh, wow.
Can't do it.
Well, let me show you around the latest offering here in London. It's just a mere $160 million. You might find it interesting. Check out London's housing market. We'll see what is on the offing on Billionaires Row. This is World One live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York, 1 p.m. in Berlin, and 8 p.m. in Tokyo. Here's an update of the world headlines. With austerity the key word these days, you'd think the market for a $160 million house would be almost nil. Well, Nina DeSantos, though, found one London listing that caters to the recession-proof home buyer.
This is Heath Hall. It's one of the most exclusive addresses in London, worth no less than $160 million. I'm here to meet Trevor Abramson of Glentree International. Very nice to meet you. You're the man who's handling the sale. This is beautiful.
Prepared to feast your eyes.
Just imagine. Let's take a look at now what's trending on social media. At number 3, a return to TV for Sex and the City. Well, yes, if you believe one British newspaper. The Daily Mail says the popular program turned movie franchise will be back for a 7th series. Some people on the web are saying they cannot wait. Others, not so sure. At number 2, Happy Independence Day, India. The country celebrating the anniversary of independence in 1947 with parades and parties. Today's doodle on India's version of Google marks the occasion with an impression of the Red Fort in Delhi. And at number 1, stop coddling the super rich. That's the message from American billionaire Warren Buffett. He has written a guest editorial in the New York Times that's getting a lot of attention online. Buffett has called on U.S. Congress to stop being so billionaire friendly. He says the rich should pay higher taxes and must join in the sacrifices that less wealthy Americans are making. Now, next time you dive into the ocean blue, why not wear a green bathing suit? Not literally green. We mean the world's first ever fully compostable bathing suit. Oh my. You've been watching World 1 live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you on the headlines at the top of the hour. Stay with us here on CNN.